Boom! What
There
up,
it is. We're live.
gentlemen? Happy Tuesday. We're going to learn, if I go to the doctor, I would love to get the diagnosis of profitable. Let's see how that's going to pan out today, ladies and gents. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. I love it. I love it.
It is fire intro time.
All right, it is time. When is it just me? The heat wave is back in San Diego, but it's all right because the Business Bros Pod is bringing it too. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review. We will sincerely appreciate it. All right, so here we go. Our guest today has been helping small and medium-sized businesses increase their profits for over 35 years, and he's had a ton of success doing so. He's so confident in his ability to grow your business, in fact, that he will not get paid until you see results. His expertise is in eliminating excessive costs and helping businesses tune into as many tax incentives as possible. Can we say Donald Trump? Just kidding. On average, he's been able to put close to $240,000 back in the pockets of his clients. So what are you waiting for? If you want to put some cash back into the hands of your business, you will definitely want to tune in today. Joining us from ACP Management Services, welcome to the show, Steven Anderson. All right, you know I had to throw that Donald Trump jab in there just for fun.
Of course. And of course,
while you're throwing up names, how about Amazon? Do you know that Amazon.com paid zero taxes last year?
I think Starbucks was right along with them.
Exactly. And you know how they did it?
Yeah,
legal
they
loopholes.
learned the rules of the game. Look, I'll tell you this, Mr. Anderson. And I'm going to say Mr. Anderson because I love saying that line from The Matrix. Mr. Anderson. But here's what it comes down to. I tell my students all the time, I'm like, look, the very first time you played Monopoly, you sucked at that game. Why? Because you didn't understand the rules of the game. But if you learn the rules of the game, you have a chance of winning. And that's what's going on here, in my opinion. Whether you look 100%. At Amazon, whether you look at Donald Trump's tax return, they have people who know the rules of the game, and they're playing by those rules. That's the benefit of having CPAs and certified financial planners and tax planning and all these things to go into your team, so you make the most out of it. What do you think of that, Mr. Anderson?
You're absolutely correct. Now, one of the things that's what most important in which we do is because these big companies have the money to go out and hire the individuals to search out all of these specialized tax incentives. But how many small businesses have that money to do that? Mm-hmm. And guess what? CPAs don't have a clue as to some of these tax incentives. Matter of fact, there's one tax incentive for commercial properties they can't do because they don't have the skills. So we have the engineer that does that type of work. And we have the specialist in our background that does all the work for them. So what we do is we look at, first, before we can identify how we can help them, we have to ask them a lot of questions about their business. And then once we identify those questions, and guess what? We can take those answers and plug them into our software program. And within 15 minutes, I can tell the business owner how much and what areas we can save them money. And on the average of all of our companies, we've got small companies, we've got large companies, the average is $240,000 savings. So if I'm able to save you $240,000, would you want us to go get the money for you? Because we have the skills and knowledge of how to do that.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'll take $240,000.
And here's the funny thing. And Vidal's dropping it over here, and he's absolutely right. when you say that the CPAs don't have the experience in taxes. Just because you have those letter designations, it's a certified public accountant. It doesn't mean that they have tax advice right there. Do they cover that stuff when you're going through college and getting your CPA? Yes, they cover taxes, but that is not their specialty. You need to be able to talk to people who are specializing in your business, not just the accounting, not just the tax planning, but everything as a whole. It's an entire picture. You don't go and make a cake just by using eggs. There's a ton of ingredients that go into it, but if you're missing one of those key ingredients, your cake is going to taste like crap. And
how do you like them apples?
You like them apples. Exactly. And that's the key here when we're talking about having a team of people that look at your business, or an experienced person to come and look at your business, to look at more than just that, can I cut expenses here? Should I be spending money there? There's a lot more to it. When we talk about things like the Donald Trump example, I mean, people don't understand. The formula has been proven over and over again. There's people from the Kiyosaki's all the way through the Jeff Bezos. They, build a business and invest in real estate. There's so many great tax benefits of investing in real estate that there's a reason why these loopholes get used when people start generating massive amounts of revenue. When you're working with a company, Mr. Anderson, what are some of those key questions that you're asking to help kind of come up with your solution?
Well, let me correct you on one thing. These are not loopholes. These are qualified tax incentives the federal government gives businesses as long as they know how to take advantage of them. So they're not loopholes.
You're absolutely right. Loopholes is here's a correction that I got to make. It's like the 4-letter F word that everybody throws around but doesn't quite understand. And we're talking about fair. Right? The word fair is always a perspective thing. If I'm looking at somebody who makes a few $1 million a year, and I have my lifestyle and I look at their lifestyle, I might look at it and say that's not fair. Same thing when I'm talking about tax loopholes. We might call them loopholes, but really Congress writes the laws. They're not loopholes. They're laws that are put into place. I'm just looking at the law and enacting it in my benefit. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. And that's what we do. We provide access and knowledge to those specialized tax incentives that most businesses don't even know exist. As an example, have you ever heard of WOTC?
No, I have not.
WOTC.
Help me out with that.
Let me give you a quick history and then I'll explain what this is all about. Back in World War II, when we won the war, the veterans were coming home and the federal government gave tax incentives to businesses to hire them as veterans. Now, as an example, that program is still in existence today, but they've expanded it. As an example, I'm a veteran. So if you hired me to work in your business as an employee, the federal government will give you $9,600 towards my paycheck the first year.
What?
Exactly.
I'm a veteran too. Nan, did you take advantage of that?
I didn't even know that was an option.
Come on.
There you go.
That's
See,
exactly
that's what
my
I'm talking
point.
about.
I didn't know the rules to that part of the game.
And now they've expanded it since World War II into other categories. As an example, are you aware that ex-felons can get on this program and have businesses federal government give the business money to hire the ex-felons? Also, any individuals that's on government subsidies, they can be part of this program.
Look, this is what I'm talking about. See, these are the strategies and techniques that change your level of profitability. Think about it, $9,000 for a vet. That doesn't sound like much, but if you're hiring a bunch of veterans, that adds up real quick. That can be one entire employee's salary once you add up the $9,000 for the number of people that you have on salary. That's money that is there that we didn't know was there, that is available. I mean, imagine going up to an employer and saying, hey, the salary you want to pay me? How about I cover $9,000 of it? Is that okay? Would I be a better fit for you if I'm comparing myself to another candidate who maybe has the same skills, experience, education level, but I'm coming in at $9,000 a year cheaper? Which one would you pick? Of course you'd go that way.
And one of the other things that we have done to streamline this whole process, the normal way that you do this is you fill out a bunch of paperwork and it goes through multiple people before it finally gets to the federal government to ask for the money. Then it comes back, and if there's any errors, they have to start the whole thing over again, and they have to get it done within 30 days. So if they don't, then they don't get it. We developed a software program whereby you plug in the information about the individual, and it searches federal and state government databases to see if they qualify for these. And within 5 minutes, you can tell how much money this person can get. And then also at the same time, you can use this as a method to determine who you're going to hire. As an example, if you have one job position that you want to hire somebody with and you have 5 candidates that look all pretty good, plug them into this software program, and that will tell you how much the government will give you for each individual. And of course, who are you going to pick?
Oh man, at that point, yeah. Well, it's like anything else. The numbers don't lie, right? If you're looking at the personality types, if you're looking at the experience, and everything is the same, then it comes down to the numbers. I mean, my background is in accounting. That's kind of the thing, right? James and I have this discussion all the time. Does it make sense? And when we say that, we're talking about that bottom line. Is it profitable to make this transaction happen? When you're hiring an employee, that is cash flow going out. You're assuming that the intent here is to have somebody who is going to bring in more revenue that comes out. But you're talking about looking at the strategy at the very beginning and easily quantifying the value of each individual person because of their background prior to them even getting into the business. And yeah, Vidal's exactly right. Vidal's exactly right.
Exactly. Give you a quick example of one of our biggest clients. It's not one of mine, but the company I'm working with. They found a company that does fast food franchising. Basically, it's a Kentucky Fried Chicken. They have 25 locations, and they have very high turnover. Well, after they got involved with us, just in this one program alone, we were able to put $2.1 million back in their pocket.
Just from subsidies like that are these subsidy programs?
Yeah, just from WOTC alone.
See, that's huge. That's huge. And you're right, they do have huge turnover. Let me ask you this. When the program that you're talking about, is that revenue something that they get up front that they don't have to pay back? Or is it something where, like, if the employee doesn't stick around?
It's a tax refund.
Oh, even better. Even better. So is it a refundable credit?
No, it's a cash transaction from the federal government. In other words, they get a $9,600 tax benefit to go towards their taxes. And what that means is that they can reduce their taxes by that amount of money.
So are you talking, okay, so a reduction in tax, we're talking about a credit.
Yes, it's a tax credit.
All right, cool. Yeah, then that's huge, because that's one of the things that people don't quite understand, and I think it's important to note here the difference between a tax deduction and a tax credit. So just to clarify for the listening audience, a tax deduction is when you can reduce the income that you have, so that when we calculate the tax and using our tax tables, the IRS tax tables, you can lower the amount of tax you have. A credit, on the other hand, is dollar for dollar reduction against the tax dollars that you owe. So in my opinion, tax credits are way better than tax deductions. And in this case, we're talking about $9,000 per person on a tax credit. That means Uncle Sam.
No, not $9,000 per person. It's anywhere from $2,400 all the way up to the maximum of $9,600. Veterans like myself have the max of $9,600. But it could be that you hire. Yeah, it's based on the category of the person you hire. So it could be as low as $2,400 and anywhere in between $9,600.
That's still nice, though. I mean, again, a credit reducing your tax liability. So I'm assuming because it's a tax credit, this has to go against a corporation or an entity that has a tax liability. So if it's a pass-through, for example, does that mean it doesn't apply? So if it's like an LLC or S corp.
I cannot answer that because I'm not a CPA. But again, this is a tax credit. Now let me get on to some of the other ones before we run out of time. That's just the example of one. As an example, again, staying with the employees, are you aware that companies, not necessarily manufacturing, can get access to R&D tax credits
Ooh, I
as
think I'm
long as they
having my-
have over $500,000 in employee costs. Then we can get them access to that, and it doesn't have to be manufacturing. And you know what R&D stands for?
Research and development.
Exactly. So if any company doing any kind of research and development, if they're making changes to their product or service, they can have access to this.
And
So
how
it
much
doesn't
was
have
that
to be
again?
manufacturing. If a company, any company, as an example, software company is a good one for this. They are making changes to their software all the time, right? So they qualify for this R&D tax credits. As long as you're making changes to your product or service, that's part of R&D. So
That's
there's a
fantastic.
wide range of industries that can get access to this, and that's huge money.
So are they able to use these funds to pay employees and to develop like or purchase software, purchase different tools?
They can use it for whatever they want.
For whatever they
no
want.
restrictions. There's no restrictions.
And give me a number again. How much was that?
To qualify for R&D tax credits, they have to have 500,000 or more in employee payroll.
Okay. So as long as they meet that threshold, they're able to apply for these R&D tax credits.
Again, they have to have the certain things happening in their business. As an example, if they're a software company, are they changing their software programs? Are they making adjustments to it? Are they doing research to find out what's better? If they're doing those activities, then yeah, they can get the money.
That's awesome.
All right, sorry.
I'm working with a dentist right now that has their own dental lab. They can qualify
because they have more than 500,000 in payroll and they're making changes to their business.
Exactly. Remember what the difference between a dentist and a dental lab is?
No,
dental lab is making all of the dental implants and dentures and all those things. And of course, they are trying new ways to improve their product. So they can qualify for this R&D tax credit.
So
all right,
great.
I missed that because I had my own technical difficulties. So
it's all right, I got your back.
All right, thank you. So you were talking about R&D. So you were talking about research and development?
Yes. Any company, let me quickly synopsize this. Any company that makes changes to their product or service and does analysis as well as analyze how they can make better product or service and their employees' costs. In other words, they have over 500,000 in employee payroll, then they can qualify for these R&D tax credits, which is huge.
All right,
Just more reduction.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Anderson. Let me ask you this. We've gone through a significant change in our world. I mean, with COVID coming out, and there have been different things that have been enacted thanks to the CARE Act, extensions on, like the PPP loans. We've had mortgage forgiveness, all kinds of additional benefits that you can take care of using government products. How has that affected your industry and what you're doing with companies, especially now that they're struggling to even make ends meet, stay open?
One of the other areas that we have is an employee retention credits. And again, this is little known. It has nothing to do with PPP that we can get them access to. That PPP is only for new hires. It's not like WOTC. It's only for new hires, and you have to spend, I believe it's 80% of the money towards employees, and you cannot spend it for anything else. So only 20% of that money you get can be used for electricity, utilities, rent, things like that. And a lot of businesses I've been reading are returning the money because they can't qualify for that. So we give them access to this. Now, also, here's something else too that most every business has. We've identified that there's 3 categories in expenses that most businesses are overpaying. And we know this through thousands of clients that we work with. And 80% of businesses that take advantage of these services, they're overpaying. As an example, credit card processing, waste and recycling, and workers' comp, which deals with employees. So what we do is we get the documentation from the company about how much they're spending and getting, the service documents, and we identify how much they're overpaying. We contact the company and we negotiate a reduction in their fees as well as get a refund. Then once we get that document, and this process takes less than 30 days. Once we get that document from the processor, then we give that to the company. And again, we don't charge them anything up to this point. Once we say that, yes, we can get you money back in your pocket, and this is how much we can put back in your pocket, they're going to give you a refund of $30,000. And this is how much we're going to charge you, which is a percentage of that savings. So those three areas, we can put a lot of money back in people's pockets really quick.
That's a great business model, by the way, because it really puts the trust factor into you as the professional, right? There are a lot of people who will say things like, I can save you money, I can help you out, I can do this, but you're putting your money where your mouth is. You're literally saying, look, I know what I can do, and when I do it, that's when I'm going to get paid. How long has that business model been working? How long have you had it operational, and how's it been working for you?
18 years.
Oh,
18
so
years.
yeah. So you just started.
Thousands and thousands of clients all across the country. Small, medium, and big size companies we work with.
What's
a little bit?
Now, here's another one I wanted you to be aware of for tax incentives. If you own a commercial property, don't care what kind, that's you bought it and fixed it up for more than $500,000, then we can get you access to an engineering cost seg study, which basically means, and this is the type that CPAs can't do because it's very specialized. As an example, when CPAs do taxes for a commercial building, they're going to do what's called depreciation. And what that depreciation is an IRS account that allows the business to lower their profits as well as lower their taxes. So as an example, what the CPAs typically do is what's called a straight line depreciation, which means that if a building is worth the IRS says, okay, this building can last 27 years. Well, then you take the cost of the building, divide that by 27, and that's the dollar amount you can depreciate each and every year. Well, we do what's called an accelerated engineering cost seg study done by an engineer, not a CPA, that IRS allows to happen. And what happens is these engineers are going to look at the building and identify the component parts of the building, like how much did they think is the value of electrical? What about plumbing? What about flooring and all these other different things? What about the equipment, the elevators, all those things? And they come up with a dollar figure for each category. And then guess what? We can depreciate each of those by 5 years rather than 27. So what that means is we can get fast depreciation, which means less taxes, which means less taxes they pay. Guess where that money goes?
Right into your pocket. Yep.
Exactly. So this engineering cost seg study is really big. Plus also, here's something that nobody else is doing. We negotiate with the property count assessors to negotiate to reduce your property taxes.
What?
Yes.
Wow. Well, look, what you just explained right there, just the accelerated depreciation is one of those, again, one of these rules that you got to understand. We can go back to our original point here. When we're talking about President Trump and he has all these real estate holdings, a lot of commercial buildings, he's probably using many of those same exact strategies that you and I, the average person, you and I are not utilizing.
Because
you just don't know.
Just don't know.
Yeah, it's just the fact that we don't know.
There's a word for that. It's called ignorance. You're not stupid. You're just ignorant, meaning you just don't know what's available. And that's what we do is we make you smarter, get you off the ignorant trail, and help you get contact with actually getting these things in place.
Well, the profit
we do all the work. We do all the work for no charge until we actually get a result.
The Profit Doctor is taking me to school here today. I love it. Every time I learn something new, it tickles my fancy. I love learning new stuff here. So I want to thank you for that. And you remind me actually of this guy I used to see on an infomercial on TV back in the day. The infomercial would come on late at night. Don't worry, it's totally appropriate. The guy would come on and he reminded me of the Riddler, because he would come out and he would be wearing a suit with a bunch of question marks on it. And he would prop up this book and he's like, look, let me tell you all the secrets. This book will make you millions of dollars. It'll save you millions of dollars. Here are all these strategies that you have that are available for you to save in your particular business situation, whatever it is. And that's what this reminds me of. Everything that you're talking about right here is all the question marks that he had in his book. Except now what you're saying is it doesn't have to be bound and paged, 1,000 pages of you doing the research. You've literally taken that exact book and you've turned it into a software where you can help people find things much, much easier.
Exactly, because the software is hooked up directly to the federal, state, and local governments, as well as thousands and thousands of businesses that we've dealt with over the 18 years. So we have an excellent access to all of this. And we have software programs which the companies can use to fine tune and speed up the process that I was talking about. As an example, WOTC is something that they can rent from us for a very small amount, and they can utilize it every single month. They look at hiring new people.
Let me ask you on the criteria. So if there's a company out there, a business out there that wants to work with you, what type of criteria do they need to have to come see you?
None.
None? No revenue minimums, no employee minimums?
No.
Nothing?
What I do is anybody that's interested in improving their business, I will give them a free consultation the first time and discuss, and then I will find out more details of what areas. As an example, when I run them through the software program, if they don't qualify for certain programs, it won't show that program is available to them, but it will show the ones that they are. And I'll talk to them about that. But to get started, I'll be more than happy to talk with anybody that wants to just find out what I can do to help improve their business. And again,
I say, hold up, wait a minute.
You said free?
Yep.
Wow.
I'm all about service and all about helping small businesses. So they don't know me that well. They might see this podcast, but they need to talk to me and get a feel for what I can do.
Yep. Oh, Hernan's audio went
Our
out.
number
Oh,
one rule in business.
there, you're back. You're back.
So
Our number one rule in business.
Yeah, give them my email link.
Yeah, what's that email? Go for it.
TSA@acpmgt.com. Is there a chat? Can I chat?
All right, you're gonna have to hit me with that one more time. TSA.
Just a second. I'm put in the chat.
All right, go ahead, and then we'll pop it up on the screen. Nan, we can hear you again. What was your question?
You know what? I forgot what I was going to say at that point. I was looking at my settings, trying to figure out what's going on here for my audio. No, I mean, we're getting that information. I mean, the fact that our number one rule in business is to be of service to others, and you're modeling that exactly. You found a way literally to sit down with somebody for free, consult with them, figure out where you can help them, actually help them, and get paid with the results that you produce. That is a model, I think, that is that has high integrity, that is, you put your money where your mouth is, that is results driven. Anybody who has a business that is not looking for that kind of help, I don't know what you're doing. Like, you need to reach out. Emails sitting right on the screen. And Mr. Anderson, can you say it one more time for our listening audience? What's your email address and what's the best number to contact you?
TSA@acpmgt.com. And also, one last thing before we leave, there's a lot of businesses that cannot take advantage of these tax incentives and expenses because they're just too small. But I have another service which I help individuals and coaches, as well as small businesses, increase their marketing message by writing the copy that gets the responses they're looking for. And I can typically triple the response rates on their marketing. And I do any and all kinds of marketing messages. I write the copy for the message. I don't create the video, or I don't create the graphics for that. But I look at emails. I've done a lot of emails for clients, specialize in getting their LinkedIn and Facebook profile fixed where people will want to contact the individual. any type of paper marketing, if you're postcards or direct mail, those types of things. So I can help those small businesses in those areas. And then once they get bigger, then I can help them in the other areas.
So you do it all, my friend. I'll help you write your copy. I'll help you save more money. I'll help you earn more money. That's what I'm talking about. That is why we call you the Profit Doctor, Mr. Anderson.
And that's it. That's what all my 35 years of clients have called me.
Love it.
Well, I can see how you're living up to your name. Ladies and gents, make sure you check out Mr. Steven Anderson, the Profit Doctor. You can find him on LinkedIn. His email is tsa@acpmgt.com. Mr. Anderson, thank you for taking the time to be on the show, and I really appreciate the delayed start.
No problem whatsoever. Whatever you need.
All right, ladies and gents, that's all we got for you guys today. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon. Have a good one. Peace.
Bye-bye.
And we're out.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the Business Bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the Insurance Bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation. Or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.